April 25th. We've seen in the last two readings that David's character was unique, and that as a result he found great favor with God. Since one's character determines one's behavior, it's not surprising to see David behave in unconventional ways. Today we see two examples. The first is his kindness toward Jonathan's last remaining son. You'll notice that when Mephibosheth is summoned before King David, he fears for his life. This is because kings would have had Mephibosheth killed. As the only remaining heir to Saul, he would have, in theory, had a claim to the throne. And most kings of that day would have probably eliminated him just to take the possibility of a revolt off the table. But David wanted to honor the covenant he and Jonathan had established years before. And so David shows uncommon generosity toward Mephibosheth by assigning him all the land that Saul had owned and by allowing him to dine at his very own table, which meant that he would be treated like a member of his own family. Second, David wanted to repay the kindness shown to him by King Nahash of the Ammonites. Even though the Ammonites were Israel's enemies, David remembered how he had been treated years before, and he wanted to show gratitude. David's act of graciousness is so unusual that it's completely misunderstood. In fact, the Ammonites didn't even believe him. They didn't believe that a king would be so gracious. And in what has to be one of the biggest diplomatic blunders in recorded history, the Ammonites mistreat David's emissaries, declare war on Israel, and are routed and defeated. David's behavior was unusually gracious and marked by uncommon kindness, honor, and integrity. A gifted teacher once said, "What you believe is what you do. Everything else is just religious talk." David didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. His actions were a natural reflection of his values. So we see that David's desire to please God, to honor God, is not just lip service. He meant it, and he backed it up with action. Here's today's application. Your behavior reflects your character. It has been said, "Show me a man's calendar and his checkbook, and I'll show you his priorities." If asked, what would those closest to you say about your priorities, your character, and your values? Take a moment today and reflect on your actions and your behavior over the last month. What do they tell you about your character? Now here's today's prayer.